Welcome to day 81 of the 300 movie challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of February 2001, which was the family-friendly Bring Your Kids Hannibal.
Yeah.
We all
Yeah.
kind of have different perspectives with this. So let's start with Tara.
Yeah, because I didn't actually watch the movie due to, I don't think I really need to explain why at this
Yeah.
point. But,
yeah.
so my perspective going into this is from reading, like, the summaries and everything, and also, like, finding out about the controversy around the movie, because a lot of the original actors actually did not make a return in this movie. I think it mentioned that there was only two actors that did, which were Hannibal Lecter, yeah, and I forgot who the other person was. But they were the only ones to return due to the fact that the book that this movie is based on completely ruined Starling?
Yeah,
Character?
Clarice Starling.
Clarice Starling's character and stuff, which when you either read the book or you read the book summary, you see why that is so.
On that note, the ending of the movie compared to the ending of the book is much better and more true to her character. So I'm not going to really go into why, but just keep that in mind.
Yeah. After comparing the two summaries, I also reached the same conclusion.
Wait, so okay, because there's Silence of the Lambs, right? Was that the first
Yes.
one? Because I know there's
I-
also Red Dragon, but I don't know where that falls into the stuff.
I think
I
that's
don't know
the
how the
first
canon
one.
goes.
From what I read, Red Dragon is first, then Silence of the Rams, then Hannibal, then apparently there's a book called Hannibal Rising, but I don't know if that ever became a movie.
Yeah, it did. I saw it in like a list.
Oh.
So okay.
Mhm.
It's weird because like again, you'd think that the movie called Hannibal would be the first one
Yeah.
Right.
for
Yeah.
some reason, but it's not. Whatever. Yeah, I came into this like just like knowing that Hannibal was a dude who ate people, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
pretty much it. I didn't know anything else. And I knew that
So-
again. I because I'd looked into this a little bit. I knew that there was this movie Red Dragon and this movie Silence of the Lambs. I mean, Silence of the Lambs was pretty well known, so I knew it existed. And I realized that okay, those came out before this, so there is some like pre-established stuff already. I did Nostalgia Critic did do a video like comparing Red Dragon to Silence of the Lambs, but I haven't seen that in like quite a while, so I don't really remember it.
Oh, I think I remember watching that briefly some time ago, but
Yeah.
So surprisingly, I am the one who have watched Silence of the Lambs. I watched it in school in my psychology class. But
that needs to be explained.
but I guess just as a comparison for someone who's watched the direct prequel, because I did not watch Red Dragon at all. I vastly prefer Silence of the Lambs. I thought it was more interesting and there's a bit more intrigue in it, because I feel like with Silence of the Lambs, you're more into the case that's being followed because you're following Clarice more often. While in this movie, I'm not even sure who you're following more often, and the focus is so weird. It's like kind of on Hannibal, but it's kind of on Clarice, but then it's also kind of on the villain dude,
And then also on this Italian guy.
and also on this like Italian dude who's like kind of pointless. And then I just feel like the focus was lost and you don't really get much out of Clarice. And like personally, I prefer, of course, Clarice. I think Hannibal is extremely like weird and disturbing, which is probably the general consensus
Consensus, yeah.
for his character as a whole. And it's not to say that he's like not an interesting villain. It's just that I prefer to follow the character that I like, which would be Clarice Starling, but she's like shat on the entire movie by her superiors, and she's like trying to find Lecter, but you only see her for like 5 minutes at a time, and it's very very strange.
It's like it's kind of like Hannibal is kind of like the I don't like using this word, but the quote unquote adult version of the Joker in terms of like kind of his attitude towards things.
Mm.
This in terms
Okay.
of like he does it because he wants to, kind of,
Hmm.
and like the sense. I know someone's gonna be like, "Oh, you're wrong because blah," but I'm being super general here, and like just in terms of he is kind of like a crazy villain that people are trying to tie down and like get a handle on, and he keeps giving him the slip and stuff like that. So
Mm.
and I'm not super into Batman stuff, so someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that like there's a fairly famous Batman thing called The Killing Joke, which I think is supposed to be kind of about the Joker's origins, but I also think that it's like hinted at also like possibly being a lie. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I'm saying that straight up. I don't fully know what it's about. Um, but at the same time, like when I look at the Joker, like I don't really want to know his story. Like, if
Yeah.
anything, I feel like that takes it away, right? The
Right.
point is, you legitimately have no idea what the fuck this guy's gonna do because you don't know him, right? So,
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of the problem with this. I mean,
Because it's almost trying to humanize him and stuff, but you're not really.
yeah,
But he's
You're
already
not
gotten
supposed to.
past that point already.
Hmm.
it. I guess like I haven't seen Silence of the Lambs, so I think I probably liked it maybe a little bit more than you did, just because I don't have that comparison of something that's better.
Yeah, that
So,
makes sense.
Because again, I do get and I was actually kind of wondering, like, where is this going? What's going to happen? I was interested in the plot a decent amount. I do admit the thing with the Italian guy, like I thought it was going to build up to something, and it just didn't. So
Yeah,
okay.
the pacing was very strange, I felt.
Yeah, it was kind of strange, and then it was. I mean, objectively, it was made very well. They definitely were, had kind of certain the shots and like the stuff, the shot. Oh, and also like the music. If you noticed, there was almost never a perfectly quiet scene.
Mm.
There was always like a tiny bit of like background score that was, cause that was kind of interesting how they kind of played with that. And so that was all well done, and like the acting was good, and as someone who you're supposed to think is totally fucking nuts and insane, Anthony Hopkins does that quite well. It's just like I don't want to see what was in this movie.
Yeah.
That's the main thing for me. Like I didn't need to see, a bunch of pigs eating a dude, right? I didn't need to see this guy with a really fucked up disfigured face. I didn't need to see someone get, hung from a balcony and his intestines fall out and hit the street. I didn't need to see a dude with his head cut open, I mean, okay, to be fair, that actually just did look a little bit silly, but still, right? It just I didn't want to see that, and I know it's like, well, what do you expect? You're watching a movie with Hannibal. It's like, yeah, I know, right? But at the same time, I mean, you could say that with like all the movies we're watching. It's like, well, fucking Spice World. Like, what do you expect you're going to see, right? But it's like, so it's like you can't really make that argument, but at least for the sake of what we're doing here. But again, it's like, I don't know. So on a technical level, it's pretty good, but it's just I can't.
You feel like that
it.
the violence and the gore and stuff took away from that a
Yeah,
little bit.
and again, like
Yeah.
some people, they don't mind it that much, or and again, it like maybe to them it enhances it because it's so gross and that's the point or whatever. But to me, it's just no, I don't want to
No.
see that. So yeah, it was kind of like with the blah blah blah. What's it called? Interview with a Vampire. In how
Oh
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
we felt
yeah.
we felt that the violence of that was like it was just it.
It was
didn't-
so excessive,
Yeah.
and it felt like it made it longer, even.
Yeah, well, okay, that had other issues. It was the pacing was way too long for that. Their characters were just stupid and annoying and stuff like that. So that was definitely a worse movie.
Yeah.
But and again, the violence of this, like, it makes sense.
But you still don't want it per se.
Like it
Yeah.
makes more sense than the Interview with the Vampire, even if they were vampires. But still, it's just it's. So I can't be mad at them. I can't be like, oh, why did you show this? Because again, I get it, but I don't want to see it. And ultimately, that's what this falls into. So, as unbiased as possible, I'd say it's decent, but I can't like it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I guess as someone who has watched Silence of the Lambs, if you have also watched Silence of the Lambs, I can say that you can just think of it as a standalone, unless you're like really interested in the Hannibal canon. I don't know why you would be, because it's actually quite disturbing just in general as you go forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would safely say that I would have been perfectly happy just thinking of Silence of the Lambs as a standalone, and like there is no continuation, there is no prequel. That's kind of how I view it, and I will happily forget about this movie personally, so that's my opinion.
yeah.
You can kind of weigh between the three of us.
I mean, from what I gather, like, because on it doesn't have a very good Metacritic score, so I imagine, like, most people who actually would be fine with this in concept still didn't think it was that great. So,
Yeah.
so put it this way, if the concept or the idea is, like, actually you might be curious about it, just watch Silence of the Lamb instead.
Yeah.
It seems like that's
It's
the
much
general
better.
consensus, so...
It's much better.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I don't think I would necessarily want to watch Silence of the Lambs, because again,
No.
it's still the same idea, right?
No.
But if someone was like, hey, let's watch Silence of the Lambs, I'd be like, alright, fine. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be like totally against it, but I definitely wouldn't like seek it out for myself, because it would be gross, and I don't like gross. So there.
For me, on the other hand, I will be against it for other reasons. The plot can be really good, the characters can be really good, the music score can be very good, but I can't enjoy a movie if I'm blacked out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
if you're not a fan of gore, don't watch it at all. Just skip it.
Yeah, it's kind of like how we skipped 7, and it's like, I know 7 is like a good amount of people really like it, and the story's supposed to be, it's really intriguing movie, but it's about people getting murdered in incredibly gross ways, so we skipped it.
Yeah.
So sorry. This was probably like the most borderline in terms of like when we were deciding to do this, like should we watch this or not? And so based on things going forward, if you are trying to like figure out what we're going to be seeing next and what stuff we might be skipping, this is probably the grossest film we're going to watch.
I think
Hopefully.
so.
I think so. Just looking at what's ahead, the only thing is that there's definitely some like R-rated, there's like kind of crime thriller stuff which could be gross. There's only like one other R-rated horror movie, and I kind of looked it up on IMDb, and it doesn't look that bad. So yeah, that's kind of the thing with that. But I mean, like, for example, we said this in the opening video of this whole thing, like, we're not watching the Saw movies because fuck that, so it's, yeah, this was very...
And what can you really, like, rate of the Saw movies?
Yeah, like, a guy died in a way, okay. I mean, I'm sure someone who'd be like, oh, there's some great characters, blah, whatever, I don't care. Like, I just, not important. I'm not seeing that, so... Yeah, I'll put it this way. Hopefully this is the goriest film we'll be seeing.
Yes.
And it should be.
Yeah.
It should be. This is kind of like the one I was like actually probably the most concerned about watching in this regard. So, yeah. So, because again, for me, like, I probably was watching like 2/3 of it, and the other third, like, basically the whole climax I didn't see. The second climax I didn't see, and the scattered scenes here throughout, and and again, like, if the movie objectively does like make you feel uncomfortable, as like that's the point, right? So again, it's like that's the thing. If you want to watch this kind of movie, it works. Though again, it seems Silence of the Lambs is better, but we don't want to. So end of story. Is there anything else to really say about it? I don't think so.
Particularly.
Not really.
Now to the truth segment.
Oh my god.
You're so inappropriately timed.
You eat fish.
Astonishing.
Yeah, I know. Well, okay. So this is completely random and like doesn't seem related, but I'll try to tie it in. Uh, so for a long time, I like really didn't like sushi, and the thing was like, I like it now. I mean, of course, there's some kinds I've had that I don't like, but you know, I generally like it. I tend to order the same kind of thing, but whatever. I like sushi now, but I used to really not like it, and the reason is because they like, when was this? Like 7th grade, they we had in like, I don't even know what you call it. It was in 7th grade, like English and history were like together as like one class that was 2 periods long.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was called like core or something. I don't know, whatever. And so 7th grade was like world history, super basic world history that like was not like, you know, ancient Egypt and shit like that, like a little bit more modern. I remember there was a thing about like Japan though. And so part of that is we had this thing where like we either made or like did like Japanese things, and I remember there was like this like scroll painting thingy I did. But one of the things we were like making sushi, and it was like, okay, that sounds kind of interesting. And
Oh no.
so the sushi that they had us make was literally just like rice and then like seaweed wrapped around the rice that were then wrapped around like a carrot.
What?
Carrot?
Yeah. It was like small, it was like carrot pieces. Like that's it.
Oh,
What?
And so I was like,
odd.
this is sushi? Wow, sushi sucks. And like I never ate sushi.
Well, I don't blame you for not liking it then.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? So I like never ate sushi until I was like 15. I mean, okay, I guess it's like 3 years, but still, whatever. There was a decent period of my life where I was like, sushi's bad. And then I don't even remember what caused the change. I probably just was like I think I was probably like went to some Japanese restaurant and like I had like, you know, teriyaki or something that I like, you know, thought was good. I mean, it's still good, but anyway. And probably like someone was like forced me to eat it or something, and then I was like, oh shit, this is actually good. But yeah.
Now that you know what it actually
yeah, I'm pretty
Your
sure
whole
that like
perspective changed.
yeah, I'm pretty sure the thing that had I was like, I don't know. It was either like a just I think I know. I think I got like ordered like a bento box thing, and like those like come with like California rolls or something.
Oh,
And so I just like tried that, and I was like, huh, interesting. And that opened my eyes to the world. But yeah.
It's always sad when you go to sushi restaurants because I'm allergic to avocado,
Oh.
and I always have to remind the people to leave out the avocado. But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
even more sad when I'm with other people and they want to share their sushi with me because
Yeah.
then they also have to order it without avocado.
Yeah. Yeah, I
This
usually
actually
get.
happened like yesterday.
Do you have like a specific sushi that like you always get? I have like 2 that I always order.
I usually go with the specialty rolls that have shrimp tempura in it.
Yeah, I usually
But then
go with that as well.
I also like sushi that has eel, tuna, definitely, then salmon, crab. I'm sorry. And crab, but those are usually
With avocado.
all without avocado.
Yeah. Well, for me, like I eat like 2 different kinds basically. There's either the dragon rolls, which are the ones with like the shrimp like inside of it. It's like a California roll, but it has like tempura shrimp like stuck through the middle. And then the other one I get is the super California roll.
Super?
Which it's bigger, and then it's like, but it's a California roll, but then has like unagi with unagi sauce on top of it.
Oh.
And so that's like probably the one I get the most, but some places don't have it, so I'm like, eh. But then I get the dragon roll, and that's good too. But yeah, the unagi one, the Super California roll is like what I always get.
I love unagi.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where just like, you know, fucking like slabs of eel just like sounds really gross, but it's like it's not. Somehow it's
It
really
really
good.
isn't though. Eel tastes so good.
Yeah.
Salmon
Yeah.
skin is oh wait, yeah, salmon skin is another thing I get. I like salmon skin.
So if y'all haven't tried salmon skin or eel, you should, unless you're allergic, of course.
Yes.
No, clearly eat it if you're
I don't
allergic.
know if eel. Can you be allergic to eel?
I don't
I'm
Is
know.
there
not
anyone
sure.
who's allergic to eel? Actually,
Please enlighten us.
Well, I mean, just
Yeah,
in general,
please.
because there's people who are allergic to fish.
Yeah.
yes,
But
that's
it's like,
true.
well, actually, well, hold on,
But
because
what kind of fish is an eel?
Yeah.
right, that's what I'm saying. Because like, okay, I know there are people who are allergic to shellfish, right?
Mm.
That's
Yeah,
that's fairly
common.
common. But I'm pretty sure there's also people who are just allergic to fish in general. But I'm like, is there like, how does that work, right?
I don't
Yeah.
'Cause
know.
I'm like, I could see how like you know, salmon versus like trout or something are like similar enough so that like you could be allergic to both. But like salmon versus like an eel, like is that close enough? I don't know. You know, how does that work?
I don't know.
So, whatever. Remember, kids, don't eat people's brains. Eat sushi instead.
Yeah. Trust us, it tastes good. Just ask 15-year-old Valen.
or present day Valen.
Or
Yeah.
present day Valen. Or present day any of us.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Nom nom.
So yeah, there you go.
There's this.
Sora also likes salmon skin, so there you go also. She
I guess
actually
the
likes fish more than other meats, which is interesting.
I guess tell us your favorite sushi if you like sushi.
Yeah. So there you go.
And that concludes our truth segment.
Jesus Christ.
Next movie will be
The
quite a
complete-
change.
Let's
It
put
will
it this
be a
way:
really
if
big
it's not
change.
the complete opposite, oh god. I actually kind of
It'll be
want
a
to see that now.
Well,
Hannibal
man, we've
crossover
watched this
with the
film
next
before.
Hannibal crossover with the next movie.
Oh god.
Oh my god, no. Yeah, I've watched the next movie like all the way through, but so I have a little bit of hope, but maybe I guess we'll see if my memory serves correctly.
I've only watched the first 20 minutes, so we'll see.
I watched nothing. Woo.
3 more perspectives, I guess.
Yay.
We're the Goldilocks 3 bears right now.
Yeah, I know.
Just like Hannibal, we want our meals just right.
Oh my God. End the
I'm
video.
leaving. Bye.
End it. Bye.
I'm a terrible person.